Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And we're speaking with Alex Urbina, a life coach.
That's right.
That's
and a life coach. And since it's the Senior Hour, senior life coach. And, we talked about, responsibilities of guys and girls getting out into public, extending themselves, assuring that they're active in their mind and their body. But, Alex, for our seniors, this time of year, they come in with a whole background of good things and bad things. And sometimes around this time of year, those bad things lead to their depression and get them down. How do our seniors keep instilling themselves or reinvent themselves or do things that will keep them out of the doldrums of that depression?
Well, I think the key distinction that you just said was to reinvent yourself. I think unconscious people don't think in the terms of reinventing themselves. They just allow life to happen to them. And that's why I started off the segment earlier about, don't let Thanksgiving just happen to you. Decide that you're going to create your own experience within this holiday called Thanksgiving. Decide that you're going to reach out to people. Decide that you're going to invite others to your home. Decide that you have to be proactive. You have to decide that you're the one that's responsible for your own happiness, your own joy, your own fulfillment, and then start getting back into the driver's seat and deciding that you're going to figure out how to create that. And if you don't know where to start, ask for help. Reach out to somebody and say, hey, you know what? I'm tired of having the same old Thanksgiving. Can you give me some ideas of how I can create something extraordinary this these holidays and to end 2015 so I can start 2016 on a whole new light, on a whole new level of creating some extraordinary results for myself.
But there are seniors who are listening right now who won't reach out because that's been their nature during their life. They were not adventurous. They did not take that extra step. They did not create their experiences, nor did they reinvent themselves. They're sitting there listening to our show and they're okay, good, yes, nodding their head. But how, Alex, do we extract out of them that step to move forward?
We're doing that right now as we speak. Just the fact that people are listening. If you're listening to this show, you're not listening to this show on accident. You didn't just turn on the radio and get to this show on accident. There was a reason why you're listening. So the fact that you're listening tells me that you are yearning for something, whether it's growth or stimulation, or you want something different in your life. You're listening because something is going on in your life that you want to get to the next level. Not everybody that's listening, let's say we got 1,000 listeners or 10,000 listeners, whatever that number is, there's only about a third that are actually right now sounding like we're talking just to them. And then next week, you're going to hit another 1,000 that's going to sound like you're talking just to them. So it happens in increments. Not everybody flips their own switch on at the same time.
No, that's
Some people have to
true.
listen to 10 segments, 20 segments, 50 segments, 3 years, 5 years, to finally all of a sudden they go, oh my God, this is the most amazing show I've ever heard. Or there's the one guest that you invite that just happens to be the one that they needed to hear. And so I think that, I believe there are no accidents, and people that are listening right now, we're actually making a difference. We're firing up 3 or 4 people right now just by listening. We're lighting the spark. You just don't see it because we're on this end. But people are getting inspired just because you decided to have this show.
Yeah, taking on a new challenge.
Absolutely.
And that's always exciting.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about my mom. I've mentioned this before. She's going to be 94 in less than 2 weeks. She lives at home alone with her cat in her garden. But I remember one incident not that long ago where we were driving up, my daughter was getting an award at her school, and so we were driving up, it's 190 miles, but you have to go through Santa Barbara, and my car broke down. And I knew exactly what was wrong, and so I had to stop, pull over, went into one of these places that got stuff to fix the engine, which I was doing. I even had gloves to do that. My mom was helping me just like she was helping a surgeon, hand me this, hand me that. And it was great. We did it, and then so we finished fixing it, and my mom went over and got a hamburger over at McDonald's as I put the last touches on. And then we got into the car, and I said, Mom, I looked at her as she's munching on a cheeseburger, and I said, Mom, what do you want to do? You want to go back home, or do you want to go up and see your granddaughter get this award? And she's not even looking at me. She's just looking straight ahead. She heard what I said, and she's munching, and then she turns to me and says, let's go on an adventure. So we went up, car didn't break down, got up there, got back down. We were just fine, had to fix the car when we got back here. But she said, let's go on an adventure. But that's, for me in my life, with my parents, both of them were just that way. Let's go on an adventure. Let's not miss something in life. Let's enjoy what's out there. Let's meet people. Let's introduce ourselves. And let's light the fire under other people to make sure they understand that adapting, moving forward, does something for them. So, yeah, Alex, you're right. We're here to be like a coach, a life coach.
Absolutely.
To tell people.
Yeah, you got both. You guys are coaches. You both, talking about subjects. You're opening up possibilities that people can't see. You're talking about certain subjects that doesn't make sense to certain people. But as you keep talking about it, you start opening up people's eyes. Their ears open up. They go, I never thought about it like that. So really, what you're doing is you are a coach. You're talking about certain subjects. You're talking about certain life events, the aha moments, and the breakthroughs that you have, that you've grown from, and you're sharing those. And it's no different than writing a book. It's no different than getting up on top of a stage and speaking to thousands of people and sharing your life story. Your story is important, and I'm glad that you use your voice to share that, because people are listening right now, and some of them are identifying with you and going, I wish if he can do it, then I can do it too.
That's right.
It's just, if you can't see them right now in your mind, you're wondering how many lives are you touching out there, because you can't really see the response unless you get, like the last time I think we were here, we got somebody that called in, and it was refreshing to have somebody call in and reach out and was asked a question. So
well, it's interesting, talking about your parents. And I think the older generations were probably a little more subdued than we are now. I know both of my parents were exactly the opposite, and I'm sure that's why they attracted. My father was a go-getter. Grass didn't grow under his feet.
Right.
But my mother was, well, maybe I'll do that tomorrow. And it's interesting because I take after my father, and my brother takes after my mother.
let me check your shoes and see if you got any grass stains in them.
She does.
But it's interesting because, and my children now, both of my children, all three of them, when Chuck was alive, he was the biggest go-getter. He did more in his 26 years than most people do in a lifetime. Mm-hmm. But now my son and my daughter, they are living life. You know, they have their own children, they have their own businesses, and they're thoroughly enjoying themselves.
Yeah, life is designed for you to use it up. Mm-hmm. Life is designed for you to experience everything, all of it, the ups and the downs. And I think the human spirit at a certain point, when they get disheveled or they get disempowered, they put some walls up and they hide out. Something like building a brick wall around themselves until they look around and realize, you know what, my life has now succumbed to just these four walls and this little TV and this cat that I have, or this dog. And that's not what living is. Living is about deciding that you're going to get out of those walls and you're going to take some chances. You're going to take some risk. You're going to get out there and you're going to challenge your comfort zone. That's to me, that's what feeling alive is. When I'm nervous, when I'm out of my comfort zone and my knees shaking like this, or I have some of my other clients and they're all nervous, and I'll say, "Are you nervous right now?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'll tell them that's what it feels like to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Very good.
You might be living, but feeling alive is being nervous. It's being scared.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah,
it really is.
When you get goosebumps, that's feeling alive. When you got a knot in your stomach because you don't know what's going to happen next, that's what being alive feels like. How do you feel like that in your four walls, already predicting what the day's going to be like? I'm going to get up, feed my dog. I'm going to feed myself. I'm going to watch a couple movies, and then go to sleep, and then we're going to do it all over again tomorrow. That's there. You don't. There's no euphoria. There's no experience. All you're doing is predicting what the next hour is going to be because you've done it the last day and the last week ago and the last month ago.
But it's their comfort zone. And
Absolutely,
that's why they don't move
zone.
forward.
Absolutely.
Some of them are afraid of failure. But still, the biggest part of this is fear. And let me reassure those listening. If you want to take that step, I will guarantee that in taking that step, you will find an oasis. You will find a place that you learn from, enjoy, get an experience from, positive and negative, that you will add to the experience of life that you've had in the past. So why not? Don't be afraid. Move forward. Don't be fearful. Move forward. Have the attitude that, this is going to be fun. It's going to be an adventure.
So when you say people are afraid, right, to fail, failing is also living. The experience of failing is you feeling that you're alive. When you failed, it tells you, hey, I took a chance. Hey, I failed, but me personally, I'd rather die in my deathbed, know that I failed 1,000 times than never taking one chance at anything.
But if you don't fail, more than likely you will not ever succeed. And that's the famous Michael Jordan quote that he says, I missed 10,000 shots. I missed this many free throws. I missed this many free throws, 3-pointers. I missed all this, but I still won in life. And, these are important aspects we can't draw back from and say, no, we're not going to do that. Failure, it's out there. Why not fail? Sometimes it's fun to fail. Sometimes you've learned something from it. And if you've taken what you've learned from it and can move forward with it, more power to you. That's life, and that's how you live it.
Absolutely. I 12 to 15 years ago, I started this journey to rediscover and redesign a new relationship around the word failure. I went on a mission to train my brain to see failure a different way. Than the one traditional way, which is, I'm not good. I'm not worthy. I'm not, smart enough. I'm not good enough. Instead of looking at failure as a negative connotation or a bad thing, I've trained myself to see failure as a stepping stone to either my breakthrough or it's the path to my success. Now I get excited. So when I start taking risks and fail or drop the ball or however you want to call it, I start getting excited because I know a couple more shots at this and a couple more failures, and either the second or third one, I'm going to hit a home run. So I get excited when I, fail for the first time or fail for the third time, because I know I can't keep failing forever. We are intuitively smart enough to figure out the course correction in our failures to finally make the right contact so that we hit a home run.
I think we're all given 50-50 chance on everything. But the best part about life is that as you gain experience, your odds start to change.
Absolutely.
60-40,
That's right.
70-30,
That's right.
80-20. And I would say right now I'm at about 80-20.
I love that.
And because, I base my judgment, my decisions on the past, and that hones my skill for the future. And hopefully success.
For me, winning in life is an art form. You have to practice your life. You have to practice taking chances. You have to practice going for it. You got to practice taking that shot. I can come up with 1,000, ways to say this, but it's about you practicing your life, getting in there and getting in the game. Some people aren't even in the game.
I know.
They're on the sidelines already, like, Coach, I'm done.
Looking, yes.
And they're not even on the sidelines. They said, you know what? I'm not even going to be on the sidelines. I'm going to go sit up in the bleachers. They become spectators of their life. Now they're just sitting there watching and observing their life that's unfolding in front of them. And that's why I said that life is happening to people. People aren't deciding to get in the game of life and actually play it, to actually participate, to take a shot, make a kick, bump somebody, like get in there and get yourself dirty. That's
right.
That's the joys of
You're
life.
right.
And that's the opportunity that we have to play like that at that level.
Yeah, I was in psychoanalysis many years ago, and an event occurred that I called my psychiatrist, and I said, "What am I supposed to do?" I was sobbing, and he said, "Ooh, Barbara, are you ready to get out of your mud puddle and wash the mud off?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "Be in my office at 9 o'clock in the morning." And I was. And from that point on, I've made leaps and bounds in my life. My life is happier than it's ever been.
And that's how powerful we are as human beings, is that once we decide that we're done, either feeling sorry for ourselves or swimming around, like you said, in the mud puddle or the pity party, once we decide we're done with it, and this is what's cool about having a coach. If a coach asks you a question that you normally won't ask yourself, like, "Hey, are you done feeling sorry for yourself?" "Well, I guess." "No, not I guess. Are you done feeling sorry for yourself?" "Yes." "Great. Do you want to find a solution?" "Yes." Now, when you're saying yes, you're hearing yourself say it. So you're actually deciding for yourself in that moment. So a lot of times I'll ask my clients, I'll say, are you done swimming around and focusing on the problem? And then when they say yes, I'll say, "Great. When do you want to start moving forward and looking for the solution?" Now that really that question really has you look at yourself for a minute, and there's only really one answer. And that one answer is, well, now. Because you can't, when somebody asks you that question, you can't say, "Well, I'll start tomorrow." Oh, so then what you're telling me is you'd rather swim in your stuff for another 24 hours before you decide to get proactive
And
get
they're not ready. That's what it
No, but it
means.
makes them they start laughing at themselves and they're like, "Well,
That's
okay, well,
right.
I guess
You're
now,
exactly
great.
right.
Then if you're ready to do it now, then let's do this."
Absolutely.
Because you're not paying me to be here in front of you to support you just so that you can say, "Well, buy my sad story another day." I mean, I don't feel great charging you just because you want to keep swimming around in your past and swimming around in your funk. My job is to help you get off of that, surrender it, let it go, let it be behind you, so you can start moving forward and start being proactive in creating the life that you're looking for.
There are so many aspects of our lives that will influence how we move forward, and it becomes somewhat difficult. And there was a movie called Ordinary People. Not sure if you're familiar with that. It was directed by Robert Redford. Mary Tyler Moore was in it. She was a wicked mom. I think she was nominated and may have won the Academy Award for her role because she was a comedian, yet versatile enough to turn her acting around and get an award for that. But it was seeing how somebody's life and past affected them, bringing them to the future, and having a defining moment that had to be psychoanalyzed by sitting down and talking to a life coach and understanding where they were, what happened, how it affected them, and then moving forward. I think all of us have that. It just depends on how much you focus on it and if you're ready to see it or not.
Absolutely. One of the greatest breakthroughs I can have with my clients is having them have a breakdown in a certain moment, like if sitting in front of me, they're in a breakdown, and what I like to do is I like to pretend. So I'll sit with them and say, wherever you're at right now, and you see it as a breakdown, a year from now, 3 years from now, you're going to look back at this breakdown, and you're going to see how this moment was a pivotal moment for you to rise to a new level and put you on a new course.
That's right.
But you don't see that forward version of yourself. You're just stuck in this moment right now, choosing to be stuck. But if you give yourself permission to see a more advanced version of you in the future, in the next year or two, you'll look back at this moment and you'll laugh at it. And then what I do is I have them sit there and I'll say, I want you to look back in the last 3 years and tell me of a scenario where you thought it was the end of the world. And then they start laughing and they're like, I got a dozen of them. And I'm like, great. So in those moments you thought it was the end of the world, right now this version of you is the advanced version that was you back then. And aren't you laughing at those moments now? And they're like, absolutely. They're like, every one of those moments when I thought it was the end of the world, it has now got me to this place, which is at a whole nother level. So it's about thinking outside the box and seeing that whatever moment is happening right now, even if it's the worst moment you think of your life, that it's happening for a reason. It's there to teach you something. You're supposed to be growing from it. And then you can, if you're really advanced, you can choose to bless even those moments. See those as blessings. When tragedy happens, or when you fall down or you make a big mistake, see that as, hey, this is a blessing to me right now because I'm supposed to be learning from it.
That's right. And we need to take a break. We'll be back in a few minutes. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And we've been speaking with Alex Urbina, who is a life coach, and we have been talking about challenges of life.
Yeah, life is a challenge.
Absolutely.
If it's like I tell when I do these women empowerment groups on Tuesday nights, and a lot of times I'll tell them, the women, I'll say, if you're going to be in a relationship, expect to get hurt. It comes with the territory. It's part of the game. It's in the rules.
It's part of living.
Exactly. And so life is the same thing with life. Built inside the game of life is called challenges. Built inside the game of life is called failure, hurt, pain, struggle,
Emotions,
all of it. So if you're going to play the game and you're going to play it to win, you got to learn how to navigate the challenges. You have to learn how to see the challenges and shift them into opportunities. It's almost like Tai Chi. You know, I don't know if you noticed, but in certain martial arts, they teach you a defensive move that when whatever force is coming at you, you just move out of the way real light, and you kind of go with it instead of resisting it. That's how you master life, is that you learn how to roll with the punches. You learn how to roll with whatever's here so that it moves out on its way and it passes through your life. It's in the resistance that where we don't want things is that we give it more power and we cause more damage to ourselves because we don't want this to be happening. That's where the stress happens. When something happens and you don't want it and you're like, why is this happening? I can't believe this is happening again. And you go into the whole victim mentality, you're actually creating the stress because it's almost like you pushing against a wall, not wanting the wall to be there.
That's right.
Instead of accepting, okay, wall, you're here. So I'm going to let you be here, and then I'm going to go move over to another space. I'm going to go move to a different area. And that's what mastering life is allowing things to unfold the way they are, and then get out of the way and keep moving forward, like you said earlier. Keep moving forward and keep creating something new for yourself.
That is profound because it's, I wrote it down even, deflect instead of resist.
That's right.
And to be honest with you, that's the way all of life is because we get involved so emotionally with the things that are going on when we're young. And then as we get older, there's still emotion there, but then you got the physical problems with our seniors that are starting to take place. So deflect. That's the thing to do. If you try to resist too hard, then it becomes overbearing and overwhelming, and you can't.
Another way to say it instead of deflect is accept. Hey, I got, my knees are bad. Well, stop trying to make them be perfect again if they're bad and you've already ruined them. So accept that they're like that. And then decide that you're going to figure out how to still navigate life with bad knees. Hey, but I have, this disease. Okay, great. You have the disease. So accept that you have it and keep moving forward. Some people don't want to accept that they have something or something came upon them in their life. So what we do is we go into the psychological resistance of not wanting it. And that's where stress starts to happen. Stress kills more people than the actual injury or the...
You are exactly correct.
Yeah, we're killing ourselves with the toxins, this nasty toxins that come from what's called stress.
That's right. And it's interesting because my mind goes 90 miles an hour, but my body doesn't.
Yeah.
And I have to say to myself, slow down.
I love that. That's awesome. Slow it down a little bit. Yeah.
And I do. And I realize, hey, it isn't like it used to be.
But look, life's not a race. So why are you going 100 miles an hour? Tell your brain, hey,
she's in a hurry to get everything done while she can. That's the way I feel too. Yeah. As you get to a certain age, you say, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? So get it done now. So, yeah, there's no grass growing under our feet.
No, not at all.
We're rolling here.
And I'm throwing myself an 80th birthday party
All
next
right,
year.
that's awesome.
I am.
And are you going to be dancing at that 80th?
Absolutely.
That's where the fun is. That's where living is celebrating. You should be celebrating your life
Celebrating.
every day.
I do.
Every day you wake up.
Absolutely do.
Every day you wake up. Be grateful that you're here. You have another day to contribute to the world or connect deeply with your loved ones. And more importantly, Thanksgiving, make sure that you walk away and put your head on the pillow at the end of Thursday night, knowing that you made some kind of a difference with one of your loved ones, whether it's a grandchild or turn to somebody and just share a little more deeper. Have your relationships be meaningful.
And that's really more what we're talking about when we can talk about the programs, that's fine, but it's really way more than that, isn't it, Alex?
Absolutely.
And life. And
all the people that I've coached that are really financially successful, or they got all these great things in their life. At the end of the day, what they really want is to be fulfilled. They just want just deep, meaningful, loving relationships. They want to love people and they want to be loved. They want to be important. They want to be a part of something big. And I think that's really what it boils down to. I don't care how I'm talking about from millionaires to billionaires to the most successful, is they all want a purpose. They want to be fulfilled. They want to be happy. That's really what it boils down to.
So our seniors are listening. Some of them don't have a coach. They see the Green Bay team coach yelling on the field, but Alex Urbina is right here. What's your phone number? How can people get a hold of you?
You can reach me at 661-505-5021. If you have a computer and you go to KHTS, I'm all over there. You can find me, search me up, find my articles, or alexurbina.com.
505-5021, area code 661.
That's right, Santa Clarita.
Great show, Alex.
Right. Thank you guys so much. Always a
Igniting
pleasure.
the fire under people
keep
here
it going.
in Santa Clarita.
Let's keep
We
igniting
appreciate,
it. Keep
we
igniting the
appreciate
flame.
your
Thank
presence.
you so much.
Thank you. We are sponsored by Advanced Audiology and In-Home Care Santa Clarita. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour. Now go and enhance your quality of life.